Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Fate Podcast, where we discuss film, anime, television, and other forms of entertainment. You know, I am here with Sam. Sam, say what's up.
What's good?
And as you know, my name is Elijah. Thank you for joining our channel. And today, we're gonna record. Well, not record. I'm sorry. We're gonna talk about, a game that's been out for what decades, like since the '90s, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think the 90s. I'm kind of a late fan
Yeah,
to the whole
same
thing.
here. Same here. Is recently dropped on Netflix, Resident Evil Infinite Darkness. I've been waiting for this once they announced it because I played the games. I watched the what 7 or 8 movies they did. Even though that was completely different. But again,
Yeah.
um, I'm a fan of Resident Evil franchise in general. And it's on Netflix, 4 episodes, and not even that long, thank God. Um, but
Thank God.
but okay, let's begin the combo. Like
Yeah, dude.
my opinion on this show, it's not bad, it's not good. It was just for me, it was watchable. I never fully completed a full game of Resident Evil. I played it. Unfortunately, never bothered to finish it. So I can't really take away from the story. I just had to, I'm just there like a new fan that know the characters but don't know the story. I enjoyed it for the
Gotcha.
most part. It wasn't, I guess, because I didn't have any high expectations. I just took it as is, and it was okay.
Mm,
How
yeah,
about you?
that might be the difference between us because
Yeah,
I think my expectations are a little higher.
yeah,
So like my background with it, I have watched some of the movies and they're bad, but like they're like the fun kind of bad where you're just so
hmm
like, yeah, okay, because you know what you're getting and you just go with it. But I haven't seen all of them. But I was somebody that was adamantly against Resident Evil because I was like, I don't see the point of these games. Forget it. Um, but a buddy of mine pretty much bullied me into finally playing one. And honestly, I love it now. I think I started on Resident Evil 4. I went back and played 1. I played 2, the remaster 2 and 3. I didn't play the OGs just because it's a lot more difficult with that, and it's fixed camera, and I hate that. So I played 2 and 3, 4, 5, skip 6 because apparently that's the worst one, and then I played 7 and the newest one, 8. And with 7 and 8, it's kind of like this new age of it where it's first person and we're getting to learn more about the background of certain characters like Chris Redfield, who we see his sister in the show. But like with that, like you start to see these new things and they're doing it really well. And I see them doing that in the game. So I'm like, oh, we're going to get to fill in some of the gaps between some of these games because there are long spaces of time in between. I'm sure they were doing something. And unfortunately, that something they give us is a total piece of crap. I I I I hated so much of it. I really wanted to like it. And I even went back and I watched those first 2 episodes because the the first time watching those first 2 and then watching 3 and 4, I'm watching the first 2 episodes and I'm just like, what's happening? Like I
Mm,
didn't really see a plot. Like I was just like, okay, there's Leon. Okay, we saw some weird event. So what? What's going on?
yeah.
And like you get the reveal in episode 2, but like I don't know, dude. Like because like I was telling you before this, the show takes place like you get that cut scene at the start in 2000 and then it goes to 2006. So like this the event sort of happens closer to the Raccoon City event where absolute pandemonium, and the first time you meet Leon and Claire actually is Resident Evil 2. They both sort of have this weird meeting throughout this night, and it's Leon's first day on the job as a cop for Raccoon City Police Department, and the first day on his job is literally worst case scenario times 100,
Mm.
and has to survive the night. And fast forward to Resident Evil 4, he is now more freelance, still working to take down bioterrorists and bioterrorism, all of that stuff. And he saves the president's daughter while also destroying another new virus / parasite that was created. And I thought we would get something like that, something new, or like the T virus popping up. And like we kind of did,
Yeah.
like sort of, because those soldiers were like, I don't want to say super soldiers. They were just like
So you don't think it was
mutating.
zombies?
Like, I guess it was more of like they had the potential to be zombies, right? Because they kept taking that inhibitor that would
Yeah.
stop them from fully turning, but they also couldn't die. So like
Maybe it was maybe it was upgraded, because to me I took it as they were zombies, but the inhibitor stopped them becoming fully zombies type of thing.
yeah.
But yeah, see with that, I guess we're gonna have to go back and forth to people that actually know the franchise and the game specifically to the
Mhm.
people that don't. And I guess this film wanted to cater to the audience because, again, when I watched it,
Yes.
I didn't know anything. We were expected to know who these character was. So
Yes.
again, they were catered to the gamers and stuff like that. Because when they kind of introduce and kind of tell a little bit about the backstory about Raccoon City and stuff, but not fully. And then they went off into this plot about this bioweapon and conspiracies and stuff like that. So, I mean, to be honest, there wasn't enough action for me. Yes, action is not the best or the main part of a film. Story is, but still, you have to mix those two together. And we really didn't get that much action until towards the end.
And not much of a story that played throughout, in my opinion.
Wait, so
But like,
okay, why you didn't like the story?
um,
Because you're not the only one. Because I read
yeah, I
other
just thought it
articles
was
and stuff like
so
that.
flat.
Yeah,
Like, dude, the dialogue between the characters wasn't even like good.
no, I
Like,
agree.
Jason is giving this, which is a new character that
Mhm.
they introduced. They're the only people that are really reoccurring, and you really had to know because of the games, just to speak on that, because it's an excellent point. And as someone that loves the games, I do think they did a disservice to people by not giving that background. They 100% expected you to know these people and already be invested, and that's not fair. That's not fair. That's not how you make a show. That's not what you do. So that upset me. But dude, like, okay, so back to Jason. He's the guy that's trying to take down and expose the conspiracy of the government and all this stuff, and like covering up these big events and in the main place that they talk about, Panam Stan.
Mhm.
He's giving that speech. He's like, do you remember when we were talking about fear or terror? And he's just like, it starts with fear. You cultivate it, you let it grow, and then you have terror. That was the most anticlimactic bullshit line I've ever heard. It was so weak. And they tried to carry that as this major theme, and I'm just like, stop saying it.
Mhm.
Stop. It was awful. It was god awful. And they made it seem like, I don't know. I just felt like all the things they were trying to reveal of like what happened in that, none of it hit for me. It was so flat. And like, again, a lot of the dialogue was also ruined, not just by stupid lines like that. That was stupid line number one.
Hmm.
Stupid line number two. Hey, Leon, that outfit doesn't suit you.
Yeah, I agree. Because they brought it back towards they brought that line back towards the end, which at the end I was just like, okay, where are you
Like, it
getting
had
at? I don't know
some
what that
weight.
means. Like,
I don't either. And like, I guess it's just she's trying to say like he's acting like a fraud, like remember where you came from, but it's also like, yo, like,
okay,
but
okay,
like,
I
but
guess.
still, it doesn't really hit
Yeah.
because, like, again, you would have to know the characters, and even then, when you really think about it, these people don't really know each other. They survived one night together in Raccoon City, and then
Hmm.
like made it out, and then went separate ways. Like, you don't know each other really. Like, what do you mean? Like, I don't know. That's what frustrated me too.
No,
and
it's just.
and then the long pauses.
Hmm.
Do you notice that? There would be like just like they would like say something, and then it would just be these long still shots on the person just.
Dramatic effect, bro.
They did it way too many times for my
No, I
comfortability. And I was just
agree.
like, man, it's a lot of pauses here. What
See,
are we
you're
doing?
damn, bro. You're dishing, bro. You do
And
not
I
like this
love these
movie.
things.
You're
And I
dishing it
like,
out right now
no, dude, I need
because
to chill out.
you know Resident Evil for me. I won't say I love zombie, but I like zombie movies. And Resident Evil again, like a good franchise. So after watching it, I can agree with you on the plot. It wasn't that interesting to me. The character development kind of wasn't there. It was already built into the show. Um, like you said, like I said, we were supposed to know these characters beforehand, so the character development wasn't there for me. Um, so as I was watching, I was just like, even though the whole time I wasn't like, oh my god, like what's gonna happen next, or I love these characters. I wasn't attached to any of the characters because you know they didn't do anything that was made me feel like okay, you know I'm rooting for him. Except Shu Mei, if I'm that's her name, right?
Shenmei or some
Shen Mei.
Shenmei.
Um, I didn't want her to die for some reason. Maybe I felt sympathy because she wanted to save her brother and out the government. It just didn't make sense for Jason to kill her because I'm just like, okay. And then when he had Leon in his hand, he let him go. So I was just like, that was like the plot hole to me. I was just like, why you kill her? You were working with her and then you killed her and you didn't kill Leon.
Yes, dude.
It didn't
That
make sense to me.
my buddy that I watched it with, that was the one thing we both said at the same time with that. I was just like, why did they kill her? Or why did he kill her? Like, what did that do for him? Like, she was still trying to help him. What's why? And only thing I can think of is because at that point he has now let it take over.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's like it was supposed to be a mark of him losing control or him trying to do, share that bullshit philosophy he has of fear building to terror. I don't know if it was a part of that. And then like, yeah, then he grabs Leon and like it's almost like he gets sidetracked. So like I don't know why he gets sidetracked, but like I knew he wasn't gonna die just because
No,
like
obviously.
he has a big storyline in Resident Evil 6. Like that's the last time that like people have seen him in the games. Most recently is Resident Evil 6. And he has this crazy storyline. So I was like, oh, I know he's gonna live at because this is 3 years before Resident Evil 5 happens, and that game completely focuses on Chris Redfield.
Mm-hmm.
And the only connection that we get from the show to Resident Evil 5 is that that general, he has that like little case for an inhibitor for
Yeah, the
himself.
tree cell, I
Yeah,
believe, and it had
Tricell. So
Tricell, and it
that
had the
is now the
umbrella.
new company that has
Mhm.
taken over as like Umbrella is now Tricell.
Yeah,
So like that was them teasing like, okay, now we're going to see this company go into that. But like, which also brings up a point of there was zero Umbrella.
no,
There was no talk of them. It was just the government doing it, which the game kind of always kind of plays with government conspiracy thing, but like it's normally corporations. It's always
hmm
the corporation, Umbrella or Tricell. It's always that, not the government doing it. But I guess it is interesting that they went the take with that, but like it was just so flat that I just didn't care.
yeah, I agree. I mean, it's not that. Yeah, okay, it's something I just watch, but like won't recommend. Um, because I wanted more, and to be honest, I viewed it as a freaking movie. It's short, you know. It was a movie and they just sliced it up, bro.
Yeah,
And
pretty
it's just
much.
made it a movie, and that's about it. I don't know why you gave us 4 episodes,
I mean,
thinking
even
it
as a
was
movie,
something.
it still wouldn't be
No, I'm
great.
just saying it was just, I
But
just,
like, no, I agree. Like, they
yeah,
should have just put it all together as one piece, not
yeah,
break it up.
hmm
Because, like, here's the other confusing thing with the episodes, and maybe it was just me, but I didn't like it when they would go to a flashback, and then go back to the present time because you could pick it up as it happened, but there was no warning. Like you could never truly tell. Like it just did it, and you're just supposed to like, hey, catch on. It's a flashback, and it's like,
hmm
wait, what?
I mean, they do that nowadays, bro. They don't like, they've been doing that for like
True.
10, 15 years that they don't even tell you anymore. This is just like, okay, you're supposed to know it's a flashback. So
Yeah, good point there. Yeah,
I mean, it worked for me, to be honest,
fair enough.
um, but but again, the whole plot story just didn't work as a whole. As you know, felt flat, wasn't engaging enough for the audience, and this is proven by the ratings it got from IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes. You know, so I don't know. It could have done better. Now, what was kind of where I look at now, I think the music was kind of was good on that part. As
That was the best part.
yeah, because I was like, okay, some scary when Claire walked into the empty house and stuff. They were playing like this dark suspense audio in the back. I was just like, oh, okay, music's kind of good. What I don't like was the animation, because the animation was just like floppy and um kind of like, you know, not real enough for me. Especially, I can remember one scene when at the end you see Leon walking back to the White House. He's
That's
walking like a.
amazing. That's amazing. I was gonna bring up the same
I
thing
was,
because
I was just like, I was like,
the biggest problem with that
that's not how
part,
human
bro,
walks.
is if you don't even look at Leon, look at the lamps like right
Mm-hmm.
at the front. They look as if they are 100% real. Everything about the scenery, it looks like it's a real shot. Like I was like, wow. But then you see Leon, and you're just like, what did they edit him in? Like, what is this? Like they just like posted him on there like a meme or something. It
Yeah,
was really bad. Like
yeah,
that animation went from either absolutely gorgeous that it looked real to
yeah.
that's pretty bad.
It wasn't consistent on it, bro.
Oh man. And I couldn't believe it because with the games they make, dude, like they have their own game engine now, the RE engine,
Mm-hmm.
and it's beautiful on there. The fact they couldn't reproduce that somehow is ridiculous.
No, I agree. I agree. Now, what I know you've been trashing the movie the whole time, but what certain things you liked about it? Maybe a scene, characters,
I
an
mean,
event.
overall, I'm a huge fan of Leon and Claire Redfield.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of both of them. They are staples of the series, and that was the biggest draw, is that they were like Leon Kennedy's back and Claire Redfield, because they're characters you don't get enough of in the
Hmm.
series, and they deserve the utmost respect. And like I did like their thing. It was towards the end after Leon saved the day. The whole real American hero shot you get with him as that plane flies off. I thought that was beautiful. Like, I was just like, I was clapping. I was just like, that's a true American hero right there. Leon S. Kennedy, everybody.
Hmm.
And Claire, she's not appreciated enough for how good of a detective she is. She's not a cop. She's just a person that tries to do like work to help people, just because she survived that night too. And all she was trying to do was find her brother, Chris. And she's just accidentally one of the best detectives ever. and and like I just really admire that, just because literally everyone, like everything was right in front of Leon like the whole time, and she is just piecing it all together, not knowing anything else of what's happening. So like I was always impressed with that, and like, but at the same time, I still didn't feel like they gave enough airtime to
Claire.
Claire as they should
Yeah.
have. But
And
like, a few things like that I did enjoy, and I tried to like Jason because I thought he was an interesting character. And like, because him and Shen Mei, their motives were very understandable.
exactly. That's
That,
what.
like, even if you don't like the characters that much, because like I didn't really, their motivations though are so fair.
Hmm.
Just because they're both people that were screwed over by their own government that they were working tirelessly for. Like, literally did not do anything other than do exactly what they told them to do.
Hmm.
And they tried to expose the conspiracy of it all, but like, of course they just go the Thanos route and just like completely do it in a
Burn
way where it's
everything.
like, so you thought you should just slit everybody's throat on a submarine?
And that's the thing. I was all with them with trying to bring the government down, but what lost me was like they killed everyone on the submarine.
Yeah,
And
and
that's
that's
why
why
that's
Leon was
basically
lost.
yeah, that's basically why
Leon's like,
Leon did join up with them. Because it's like, oh well, I'll help you out, but you killed everyone. You made the zombies attack the White House. That was all on you. So it was just like, nope. So I wanted to root for them, but I was just like, well, you did a dirty act, so I kind of can't. But
exactly. But yeah, like stuff like that, and like just the little shots where you see it would look really realistic. But I mean, some things that I guess I could say I liked, or rather just funny because it was poor,
mhm.
is the lines where they were just dumb. Like, there's that one Secret Service guy that was helping out a secretary, like one of the secretaries, and he went full zombie where he was like pretty much the only one that was super fast for like no reason at all. And Leon came in and popped a couple in the skull real quick before this dude was about to get bit. And he was like shaken up later, and he looks at Leon, he's just like, never had to deal with anything like this before. Just, I was glad that you were there. You really saved me, and I really appreciate that. And Leon just looks at me and just goes, okay, and then walks away. And I was
And you
like,
know what? And that scene, to be honest, that scene was predictable to me because I'm like, oh, okay, either you're gonna die or Leon gonna save you as the hero. And right then and there, I was just like, if someone gave me $100, if I bet $100 on that scene, I would have won, bro.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's sitting there just like, all right, Leon comes in now.
Exactly, bro. But overall, what do you give it?
4.
Damn. Um, okay. I'm right there with you. Like, I'm not gonna watch it again. I'm not gonna recommend it
No,
to anyone
it's
again.
I know, and
I'll watch the. I will watch the next season though. See what they do. Because again, I'm a Resident
that's
Evil
what I
fan.
want is if they do another season, like, can they give me something more that explains this? Like, because if this just ends up being set up, I can almost live with that
Mm-hmm.
if it leads to something more. But like, I just kind of get the feeling that we probably won't even get to see that because
Why?
it's gotten such bad reviews by
No.
people, especially from fans. Like
Yeah.
me, myself, and my buddy that I watched it with, he's more of a diehard fan than me, dude. He has played, his favorite game is Resident Evil 4. He has probably beat it 20 different times. He's
Mm.
beaten it on GameCube, he beat it on Switch, he beat it on Xbox. Like he's every next generation system, he always just plays it again. He just went through a playthrough. We watched that and we were just so disappointed by the end of it. Like I just couldn't believe I sat through it. And like it's not long.
No, it's not.
Not like you waste too much of your time, but still like it's time wasted where you're just like they really hyped this up a lot to
No,
just
they
give
did.
us this. You
Listen, I thought
know,
it was going to be more zombie killing. There's going to be more like
like
action and
all the staples of the
Claire and
series they
Leon.
ignored.
They didn't even have enough screen time together. Like they met in the first episode and they didn't meet again until like the last episode. So it's just like, okay, their relationship. They act like they have a relationship because of Raccoon City, but again, like you said, they didn't really know that much of each other
Yeah,
to
and
be
who
like,
knows? Maybe there's more like storylines or something in there that I don't know about, or like behind the scenes stuff that they know
mhm.
like have integrated in, but they haven't showed it. Like, dude, I don't
No,
know.
I think, honestly, I think we're gonna get a next season. Because again, it's Netflix. It's not like it's not going to box office. It's Netflix. It's streaming site. So obviously they're gonna give us a next season.
But here's other good news too.
Yeah.
On top of that, let's say we maybe get a second season, but they're also already working on a live action Resident Evil series
Mm-hmm.
for Netflix. And then they're rebooting the movies, but they're going to have actual character. They're just going to use the source material now rather than a brand new story. So those two things are on the docket coming up, and they just recently released the cast for the show. And I think there was a small amount of controversy because of the fact um, the main guy, Albert Wesker, the bad guy of the series, always been white, blonde hair, blue eyes. Well, they decided to cast Lance Reddick.
Mm.
And if you don't know who that is, he's been in a lot of different stuff. Like he was in the show Fringe. He was a police captain in that, and then he was also a police lieutenant, I think, in The Wire. If you've seen that, um, I don't know. He's in a lot of
I'll
stuff
look them up.
though.
I'll look them up.
But he's done a lot of different things.
Yeah.
He's cool, but of course, he's a black guy, and everybody's just like, you can't make a Wesker that, and
Oh,
it's
okay.
not
Yeah, he's a black guy. Oh, because I was just like, what, black hair? And I was just like, who
no,
cares?
not black hair, black guy,
Okay, a
bald.
black guy. Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Um, mm,
So people have a problem with that. I personally don't
mm.
because I've like seen him enough and stuff where like he can kind of have this devilish thing kind of going on within him that I think he could probably pull it off.
Yeah.
But of course, people want it to be so pure.
I
But
mean,
whatever.
I don't know. Like, you have to give me a good reason why you want to change the like the race of that character. Even I think my thing is like, oh well, what they're gonna say is you need to, we need to bring diversity into this franchise, whatever BS crap they're gonna say, whatever. But I don't care about the cast. I think we already had the conversation. As long as he plays a good Wesker, that's fine with me. I mean, granted, the story gonna change obviously because when you say change the race, you kind of the character's gonna change and whatnot when you change the
Probably a
race.
little bit, but I would actually argue that it might be mostly the same.
Mm-hmm.
It like literally, this is like a role in my mind where it's like I felt like if you would ask the director, like the people in charge that decided to do it, they might say diversity for an upfront reason, but I
Hmm.
bet their real reason would just be like, because I don't give a fuck and I think he's a good actor and I think he'd fit the role. Like that's how I see it, at least, where I just think like the director or whoever does the casting and wanted him, they were just like, no, I just think he'll just do it right. So I just don't care that he's black. So that's how I see it. But I'm excited for that. And
No,
then
same here.
for the movie, they've already made a bunch of different casts for a bunch of different characters.
Yeah, like Robbie Amell, gonna be Chris Redfield, um
Oh, I didn't know that. That's actually a
Tom.
great choice.
Yeah, no, I agree. Tom Hopper is gonna be Albert Wesker,
Okay.
Kaya. I forgot how to pronounce her last name. Sorry for S, but she's gonna be Claire Redfield. And she's from the Maze Runner. The girl from the Maze Runner.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
her.
I'm gonna look this up real quick.
So I mean, I like the cast that they're Leon is gonna be played, forgot his name. Kind of different from the video games, the actor, but again, it looks like gonna be a good cast. Hopefully it's gonna be a good movie. It's
Oh
gonna
yeah,
come
the
out.
only interesting one that I would think is Leon S. Kennedy, where it's just like a very different.
Yeah,
Because
that's what I'm
Leon
saying.
kind of has like, I think people say blonde. For me, he kind of has like silver hair,
Hmm.
and
No, the choice they picked for Leon, he doesn't look like Leon at all. They just took Leon to a different route as far as casting.
well, as long as the guy, yeah, like like you just said, as long as he can do a good job, I think I'll be okay. Oh wait, I know who this guy is. This dude
Who?
was in Victorious.
Yeah, he wasn't. Oh, okay. Yeah, he wasn't Victoria. Yes, yes, yes. So he probably can sing us to death.
Yeah, you know what? I tend to talk crap on people that like have backgrounds where I'm like, that's weak. And they end up usually like impressing me like really hard. Like Robert Pattinson, like
Hmm.
I was very skeptical of him being Batman, but that
Yeah,
little trailer clip that they had released last year, I was kind of like, I'm actually not worried anymore.
yeah.
This looks
People
like he
people
might
liked
do
it.
good. So, but then I had to figure out who Tom Hopper was, the guy from Umbrella Academy.
Hmm.
That'll be an interesting Wesker. But yeah, dude, there's a lot of big people in this
Yeah,
show, it looks
it looks
like.
good.
Dang, they're even gonna have Ada Wong as a character. That's a huge important character. So if it's Welcome to Raccoon City, it looks like are they gonna do a weird take maybe of the whole Raccoon City event then?
I believe it's. I think so. I think they're because again, there's a reboot, so I think we're gonna actually get like Raccoon City, the beginning, and then
We
we're gonna
should,
get.
because
Hopefully,
if
it's
that
successful.
it's crazy.
Yeah, hopefully it's successful, and we get more movies. But how you feel about them rebooting, um, the movie? Because I know Mia again, don't know her last name.
Djokovic or something
Yeah,
like that.
Joker. Yeah, that's a yeah.
I
Because
probably butchered it.
once that movie ended, her last movie, um, Resident Evil Afterlife, I believe that was the last movie. Um, like probably a year or two after, they was like, okay, we're gonna reboot this movie, and I guess she felt some type of way.
Oh, she was salty about it.
Yeah, she was like, well, like I just finished the movie, and you guys say y'all gonna reboot it, like whatever.
Well, I wonder, did they even have like a did this game studio even have a big part in it? Like
In the
those
first,
movies?
and
Like just that whole movie series. Like, did they
no,
have any part, or is
no,
that
I mean they
all
probably did because
WS?
they had to Capcom had to give them the rights for
They
it.
just gave them the rights and then they did their own
Well, not
thing.
gave them the rights. Well, maybe gave.
Well,
I don't know what
like
the
they
deal
probably
is, but
got
yeah,
paid. They were just like, yeah,
yeah,
you can license the rights for
yeah.
these
There you go.
movies.
But they changed the story up. You know, it was Resident Evil, but it wasn't Resident Evil. It just had the
Yeah.
name.
I mean, I think out of anyone that has a right or negative feelings about it, she has the most right to be upset.
No, I agree.
Because I mean, doing 8 movies, that's a part of your life. Like it doesn't matter how insignificant the movies were in impact. Some people still love them, and that was probably like what, a decade of her life.
Yeah.
Like,
And
yeah, that would feel like a slap in the face. But as someone who is distant from it and not going to empathize with that actress or anybody that did it, I say I think it's a good call by them because Resident Evil is resurging now. When those movie series, when that movie series wrapped up, bro, I don't even know if Resident Evil 7 was a thing yet
mhm.
when that last one came out. I might be wrong on that, but I don't know what year it came out, but I don't know if Resident Evil 7 was out, and I don't even think Resident Evil had the same level of hype then. Like, Capcom's just coming off of Resident Evil 8 right now, and it was a huge success after 7, which was a big success, but I think a lot of people were still kind of like, just because it switched to first person instead of third, and they switched up some of the things and how you do, like, how you craft item, just little things. They
Yeah.
changed it up. But, when they hit it the second time with number 8, huge success, not only commercially, critically, fans loved it, even though it's first person. You still got your people that are upset, but overall, a lot of people love it. And the hype is real for that series right now. So if I'm the people behind Resident Evil, if I'm in Capcom, I'm going, yeah, let's reboot it and let's do something more true to our material.
Yeah, because right now they said they're gonna make it more like the game, so we're gonna have that scare feeling, that um thriller, that intensity of like being in
Yeah,
a
that
dark room.
anxiety the whole
Yeah,
time of just
there you
like,
go.
yeah, you're chilling right now, but like, who's coming after you?
It looks good, bro. It looks good.
Because like
Uh,
another staple of Resident Evil is there's always something chasing you. They
mhm.
don't run after you. They'll kind of walk quickly, but they're not going to like run after you. And what they make creepy in the games is you just hear the doom, 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 doom. Like you always hear their footsteps.
Mhm.
And when they get closer, they get a little faster. So it just gives you that like, just that little extra anxiety. And like, that's something that they always do. And like, this show had none of that. So like,
No, it didn't.
I really hope they try to like
Yeah.
throw that in the movie
No,
somehow.
I agree. Because I remember when I played the games, like I'm playing, like I turn around, I'd be afraid of, oh my god, like I get goosebumps when a zombie come near me and stuff like that. Especially, you play late at night. With me, I try not to play in front of my parents because they could be like, "Oh, what kind of game you're playing? You're only 8 years old." And I was like, "Mom, like, you know." So, so yeah. So, do you think this was the worst adaptation of Resident Evil?
No, it's not the worst adaptation, but it's nowhere near the top.
Okay.
But I don't think it's the worst just because some of those movies are pretty bad. And
Well, can you even connect? I mean, yeah, I have the Resident Evil
yeah, I
name, but
guess
can't
I
really
can't say
connect it
that,
because
but
it doesn't
like,
have the same storyline like at all.
you know
And
what? I take it back. It might be just because there's some animated movies that they've done that
yeah,
connect certain things,
hmm,
and those were better than that because they had equal parts story and action. And like, it's not like Resident Evil always had these like incredible stories or incredible dialogue, but like, I mean, you almost feel like you can chalk that stuff up for the old games of like the bad dialogue and stuff of just them just being like, we just want you to have a good survival horror game. And like they just didn't care to do that. And it's just like, okay, that was just back then. They just didn't care as much. But like now, like there's more rich story to these games.
Mm-hmm.
And it just is kind of like, why go back to the same stupid tropes of bad dialogue, super cheesy stuff? Like, why not just try to make it incredible? And I don't know. Maybe it's another one of those things where you got to take what you get, but also like, come on, you can do better.
All right. So I think this is going to be the last thing we talk about. So do you think that they shouldn't make, series of video games, live action or like shows?
The age old question, right?
Yeah.
Do they keep trying? Bro, I'm all for video game adaptations. Honestly, as much as they continuously are bad, there are gems in the mix, right? Like, I'm not a huge Sonic guy, but I watch Sonic.
Pretty good.
Pretty great kids movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Like that was something I watched and I was like, damn, I would play this for my like class. Like there wasn't anything overly inappropriate. Like it was funny, very enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
So you get little gems like that. And like, even, you know what? Detective Pikachu didn't hate it.
Yeah, it was all right.
As a Pokemon guy, I enjoyed it. Man, I'm trying to think of other ones. Doom, bad.
Yeah, no, Doom was bad.
I tried to like that a lot just because it had The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
You see that? It has him, Carl Urban. You're like, yeah, let's do it. But I don't know, man. They keep trying, like, and I hold out hope because they're like, sometimes I kind of think of like certain games that they do adaptations for, like Doom. I'm just like, why make a movie out of that? Like the whole point of that game is not a story. Like it's just, hey, there's demons everywhere, survive, get out. Like it's just shooting. Like that's not a movie. But I mean there is some like history to it that'd be good, but
how about The Witcher?
Great.
Okay.
That's something that they have done right. Did you watch The Witcher?
I watched the first 2 episodes. The first 2 episodes, I need to finish it, and then
really
I know season 2 is coming out.
Now, however, with the show, the only difference, of course, they count as a video game adaptation, but they take from the books.
Okay.
So they take from the books rather than the games, because the games are actually this sort of continuation of the books of Geralt in his later life.
Okay.
They're not, and they work that company works very closely with the author. He loves working with them. He partners with them on the project. So like they've always had a solid relationship. So for them to transfer it to show, like, yeah, it was going to be super clean because they were just like, yeah, we love this author. We work with him on the games. Like, yeah, let's work together and do this show. It'll be perfect. So that's one that was really good. That's a very exceptional, what's the word I'm looking for? Just like
adaptation.
Outlier.
Yeah.
Of an adaptation for a video game. I keep trying to think of things. There was a Need for Speed movie. Do you remember that?
You know what?
I never even saw it. Out of respect for the games.
Huh? Oh, listen, I love Need for Speed. As a video game. But yeah, when they made, actually, I was I'm always excited when they take video games or a TV show and stuff like that, anime, and they try to create into a movie or a live action. But honestly, they don't have a good record of like making good films. Need for Speed was garbage, trash.
Oh, okay. There's my answer.
I mean, it's on, I believe it's on TNT. I'll rewatch it to see, like, because I watched it
they
when
probably play it on there all the time.
Yeah. What am I say? I'm gonna watch it again because I watched it with like 15 years ago, wherever it was created. I just want to watch it again to see how bad it is.
And like what sucks is, dude, they had Kid Cudi and Aaron Paul in it. And it was like,
Yeah.
those are two big grabs where it's like, I kind of want to see it.
Mm-hmm.
But
But
yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from, dude. The track record's bad, but like I still get excited when certain video games get
no, I agree.
adapted, because there are currently two that I'm very, very excited for, and my fingers are crossed. One a little more so than the other. And both are actually made by the same game company, Naughty Dog.
Mm-hmm.
Uncharted and The Last of Us.
Oh yes, The Last of Us. I know they're coming. Yeah, I played the game.
You played the first one?
No, actually, correct back. I haven't played the game, but I know of the game, and it was. I know it was like one of the a bestseller. I know
Dude,
everyone loved the
I
game.
I bought a PlayStation a couple of years ago, right? On a great deal, $200. It came with God of War, it came with Horizon Zero Dawn, and it came with The Last of Us Remastered.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first one I played, was The Last of Us Remastered. I knew I fell in love with this game. The introduction, the prologue of the game, where you just are this little girl at first trying to look for her dad, walking around the build or like the house, and all of a sudden, like, dad comes in, he's just like, we gotta go. You get thrown to the car, the world's like ending, pandemonium, and just it gets to a point where the car crashes because it got so crazy. Then they got to ditch it and they start running on foot, and this military guy stops them, and he's getting called in. He's like, oh, I got two people here. And you can hear over the radio, he's just like, wait, what do you mean? There's a kid. Yes, sir. And he pulls up his gun. He's about to shoot him. And he pulls the trigger and like fires a shot. And then the dad, Joel, goes in, takes the gun, knocks the guy out. His daughter is like, literally the opening scene is just him now holding his daughter who's dying in his arms. And it just says The Last of Us. And I almost cried on the spot. It was so deeply moved. Like this game is already so cinematic that if they really can't transfer it over to live action, I'm going to be so sad, because the thing is, this is one of the best stories I've ever like got to engage with in a video game. Like, it is so immersive. It is so, you get so invested with the characters. You fall in love with them. The plot is amazing. So like I've almost too high of hopes probably for that show, and I'm really excited for it. And then Uncharted, which is like basically new Indiana Jones.
Mm-hmm.
It could be better than Indiana Jones, as a matter of fact, because it's modern. It's not the this belongs in a museum kind of thing. Like, it's just, no, this dude's a hustler. He needs that treasure because man wants to get paid, but also just have the credit for the discovery, not give it away, keep it for himself. And that seems a little more realistic to me, to have a treasure hunter or an explorer that's doing that, rather than, oh, I'm doing it because I think it belongs in the New York Natural History Museum. Like, no, dude, that's not a thing. People don't do that anymore. So like, I'm really excited for that. Plus Tom Holland's playing the main guy. Mark Wahlberg is playing the older gentleman that sort of takes him in, Sully.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited for it. But why I'm not as excited for it, because I saw Tom Holland say that he is kind of worried of how he played Nathan Drake, and that he almost felt like he went too action star. And maybe that's just him being really hard on himself.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope it's just that, and not like him just being like, sorry if I disappoint. Like, so
No, I think
because like that movie's been in production purgatory for like 11 years, dude. Went through 7 to 9 different directors, I think. That's a lot.
Yeah. We'll see how it is. Video games adaptations to the big screen is you know, as always, you're excited until you watch the movie. And we just have to wait and see what Resident Evil do for season 2, what the live action movie is going to be, the TV show is going to be. And
So they got a lot
we just
coming,
have to
dude.
wait.
And
So, wrapping up, fortunately, you trashed Resident Evil Infinite Darkness. I think it was okay because I'm the you're more of a hardcore fan, so I get it. I'm just the person that kind of plays it a little bit, knows who the characters are, and so forth. So, yeah. So thank you guys for listening to our review. We went in on Resident Evil. We kind of talked about the adaptation type of thing. If you're a gamer, leave a comment below. What games do you want to see that want to be live action or make it to a TV show? Can they get it right? I don't know. Leave a comment, email us, follow us on Fate Podcast on YouTube, and follow us on at Fate Podcast on Instagram. And see you next time. Peace.